Aftab, how is your coffee? It is good. It is decaf. How is yours? Delete. It is good also. How is your muffin? It's powerful stuff.
So, muffin is code word.
No, it is comfort food. And a lot more fattening than people realize. So why would two hardened KAOS henchmen risk the carbs? It's because they're under a great deal of stress.
Hence the decaf.
For Aftab, yes. For Dilip, he is still taking his regular because he's been sleeping on the couch for the past 3 nights because he called his sister-in-law a leathery hag.
You know, people say things out of anger that they really don't mean. You know, these are just words. Leathery hag, fat cow, ungrateful whore. You know, they're just words, you know, that get used against you in a custody hearing.
Man, just let it go. Come on. Those kids don't even look like you.
Yes. Oh man,
phenomenal intro.
I didn't think we'd get through. Honestly.
I know.
I almost fucked it. At least I waited a minute and a half before the first curse word. Yeah, I almost jumped in at the wrong moment. I'm gonna have to cut that part out, I think. I did the you know, our arch nemesis when we first started doing the podcast, and we were super obsessed about all the little quips and the mouth sounds and everything because we wanted it to be perfect. And we've talked about this before.
Yeah, and we've screwed it. We've screwed it blue.
We've screwed the pooch on a number of occasions. But no, we're doing our best to just be as natural as possible, and what we record is what you hear.
That is right.
Unless we really screw the pooch. Then you might not hear that.
We've done that a few times. I mean, the ones that are brought to you, there are some episodes where it's like take 3, maybe take 4, 8.
Yeah, 9. Are you talking to me from my walkie-talkie? But what we've been doing is planning our weekends better.
Yes.
So we can have a better idea of what episodes we're going to do, get them knocked out in a weekend, and, you know, give ourselves some leisure time.
Yeah.
Because, like, as of this episode, like, this is maybe 6 weeks prior we're recording it to when you'll actually be listening to it. So,
okay, so when this comes out, I want you guys to know that today is actually St. Paddy's Day.
Happy St. Paddy's Day to you. Why does everything I do sound like a leprechaun? I don't know.
So now, this gives you, our listeners a
little bit of
reference.
context.
Yeah, to be like,
yeah.
Oh, wow, you know, you guys risked your St. Paddy's Day and your entire weekend really to entertain us.
But if I'm not mistaken, I think this episode will post on April 29th?
I don't know, somewhere in there.
It's somewhere in April, but
Yeah.
This is the last episode that we have to record for the month of April, so we're being proactive.
Yep.
We're planning our weekends so we can give you the best possible content, I guess, for each episode that we're recording.
And this week's episode is Get Smart.
Get Smart. For 600. So we had talked about which ones we wanted to do this weekend, you know, and this is our 4th recording.
Right.
And we talked about doing Austin Powers. We talked about a couple different
there
items.
were a few different names in there, like Austin Powers, Horrible Bosses was another one that we were talking about doing. We did do the other one that we had talked about, Real Men, that posted.
So these the other 2, we will definitely be doing those probably very soon.
Correct.
So something for you all to look forward to.
Yes. Back to this movie, Get Smart. I think one of my favorite characters in the entire movie. I mean, you know, Steve Carell's the star, in the movie. And then you have, I mean, it's a really good cast. But I love this man and anything that he's ever done. And may he rest. But Alan Arkin, God dang darn, man. He was a man among men. But
he was
always
just
funny.
so good in everything he did. And, you know, we've talked about him and, you know, other movies. And he's just something about him.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy, man.
The scene when Larrabee, who's played by David Koechner, and his partner Terry Crews, who's Agent
23.
No. The Rock is Agent 23.
Oh,
He's
Crews is 91.
Yeah, 91. And but when they're just sitting there and Agent 23 comes up and he's like, Larrabee, you were the last one to use a copier? And he's like, yeah. You left it jammed.
He's like, well, why don't you? And he does this finger gesture like it's going up somebody's butt. He's like, well, why don't you unjam it?
And he was like, oh, really? He's like, oh, is this your stapler? And then staples the paper to his face.
And then the chief calls.
He's like,
hey,
23. He's like, you got a minute? And he was like, yeah, sure thing, chief. He walks over and he was like, we can't just go around stapling papers to people's heads. That's CIA crap.
He's like... But Larrabee, he's like, you jammed the printer.
Yeah.
We have protocol.
Yeah.
He's like, we got rules to
we
follow.
Got rules to follow.
He's like, well, you can't jam staplers into people's foreheads. That's yeah. And there's a couple other good characters. I think Lloyd and Barry. I think something like that.
It's Bruce and Lloyd.
Hello, Bruce. And
when Control gets attacked, and then he comes in, he's like, Bruce, Lloyd. He's like, what happened? What is that ungodly smell? It's fear.
But, I mean, you've got the agents, and then you got, like, the pencil pushers.
Yes.
The Control, you know, they work in the office, and that's what Max Smart, Steve Carell's character, does, you know?
And Bruce and Lloyd, every time they're in a scene, the scene is always instantly funnier. I mean, these guys make it funnier, but at the end, when... Max is detained and he's able to break out of the cell.
Yeah, he's been accused of being a double agent.
Yeah, so he breaks out of the cell, and as he's going through the hallway, Bruce and Lloyd, they're like, oh, you know, they come running up behind him and they're like, freeze. Like, and he was like, I want you guys to know I'm not a double agent. And they're like, we never thought you were. We love you.
Well, what are those intense, crazy faces that you're making?
And the gun pointed at me, and he was like, it's for the security cameras. We can't make it look like we just let you go. And he was like, okay. He goes, all right. It's like, Lloyd, I'm going to smash you in the face. And he's like, thank you. He's like, and Bruce, I will simulate your disembowelment. He was like, oh. So he's like, all right, get ready. Well, Steve Carell throws a right hook, but Lloyd falls the other way.
He goes to the left.
He's like, and he was like, wrong way. And then Bruce is just like, he's like, no, I can't. He's like, I can't stand the sight of blood. And he's like, I'm not actually going to hit you. And he's like, no, I can't see blood. I can't talk about blood, or I just...
It's going to be fine. And he just faints.
Yeah.
There's some, just a ton of great moments in this movie. It's like, and I can't even go...
Well, there were a lot of nods to the TV show.
And I'd never watched the show, so any reference to that, I mean, you'd have to be the one to bring that to the table.
Well, the opening thing when he's going through... like the 6 or 7 doors to get to the phone booth,
security
that shoots
doors,
down.
yeah. Mm.
That's a nod to the original. That's what always happened. He'd walk through all these doors as they close behind him. He'd get in a phone booth, put a quarter in the phone booth, hit a couple buttons, hang up, and then it would go down.
But I like the opening when he does that, and then as soon as he gets down, it's like, well, as he's going through the doors, first of all, he's dropping papers. He's got this whole stack of like files, which I don't know why he didn't just put it into a duffel bag. I guess because it wouldn't be funny.
Right.
So one of the papers gets stuck in one of the doors, and they're all like high security things. Like some of them have like spikes in it.
Yeah.
So it just looks like if you don't make it through in time, you're going to get crushed or impaled or something.
Yes.
It is ridiculous. But one of the papers gets stuck in it, and you just see him. You don't see him, but you see the paper through the crack.
Up and down.
Yeah, because he's trying to pull it back through. But he gets to the phone booth, which shoots down very quickly.
Yeah.
And as soon as he comes out, you still see papers flying everywhere. And then he's like, Judy, that the phone booth is still doing that thing
where it just shoots you down really fast.
Really quick. I thought the maintenance fixed that. And she's like, well,
let me check.
Yeah, they fixed
did.
it.
It's like,
but she's such a bitch to him, but she's so hot. So it's like, that's probably the only reason why she has not been fired.
That's why she still has a job.
That, and she's probably sleeping with 23. You never know. He is The Rock.
How could you not?
But this is a younger, thinner, more toned Rock.
Right.
He
wasn't the boulder quite yet.
He actually had a neck back then. Now it just goes from head to torso.
That, and then that's a nod to it. The shoe phone, that was a nod to it. Don Adams is actually the original guy from the TV show, and
that played Max.
Yeah, and before he passed away, I watched a biography thing on him, and he was talking about that people to that day still walked up to him, would take their shoe off and be like, "It's for you." So, but he said it wasn't like, grown men that were around his age and stuff. I mean, it would have been like, he was like, people in their 20s. He was like, so that's how good the show still hits all those years later.
I kind of want to see if I can find it somewhere.
Oh, it's got to be somewhere. But
see, and I'm finding the older that I get, the more appreciation I have for older movies and older TV shows.
Right.
Things that I probably would not have enjoyed as a child.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean,
with one exception, Twilight Zone. I always loved the Twilight Zone.
Which is so weird for you.
I know.
It's so out of place. It's like, hey, why don't I come over this weekend? We can have a Scream marathon. I don't like those kind of movies, but if you want to watch the Twilight Zone, it's like,
I'm game.
So weird.
I know. It makes no sense. But just what is going on? My TV has the ALEXA built into it, and she's forever listening.
I'm looking at all these doors in your apartment.
Yeah. So apparently my apartment is haunted.
We're thinking
it's because got up this morning and
some random doors were just open.
My linen closet door was open. My pantry door was open. I've got in my office. In here. Yeah, I have a little like hutch, whatever you want to call it, a little mini cabinet. And that door was open. There was crazy noises happening all night long. A cat that sounded like it was possessed.
Dude, that cat sounded crazy.
It sounded like it was in my bedroom.
That was about what? About 4 o'clock this morning?
That's about when I woke up.
See, and you and I heard the exact same thing, and you said it sounded like it was from your bedroom. Now, I was out here on the couch in the living room, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, and I even said, I was like, Morgan's in there watching like Instagram, like some weird cat videos. Yeah. Because it sounded like it was coming from your bedroom.
Yeah. And then after the cat sound, I swear I heard somebody talking.
Which I also heard.
What the hell, man? I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, man. It's crazy. But anyway, in the movie, Max, he wants to be an agent so bad.
He does.
He can taste it.
I can just feel it.
When the movie starts,
like this is right in my neck.
Yeah. He is submitting his exam or doing his exam, I guess, to be an agent. It's some kind of a test that he has to go through.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine it's kind of like a written test, verbal test, and then possibly like, the some physical
field
fitness
things, yeah.
Which he said, when Alan Arkin, the chief, brings him in, and he was like, "Yeah, he was like, yeah, we got your test results back. Everything looks good." And he's sitting there and he was like, "And I really love the essay you wrote on existentialism." He's like, "I left that part blank. He's like, "Blank. That's good stuff." He's like, "Anyway, you passed with flying colors." So then he was like, "Oh, I knew I would." He's like, "You knew my fitness has always been a challenge for me." And then he turns over, like he gets up and walks around, but it shows the flashback. It
does a flashback because he was like,
and
he was a big dude.
Yeah, it's him in a fat suit.
Yeah.
Just trying to do everything. But when he's going down the zip line, and that's how heavy he is, it just drags him down to the ground. He's like, personal best.
But he even talks about that whole, he talks about it when he meets 99, that he had lost 150. No, they were in that mansion dancing.
Yeah.
And he picked the larger woman.
Yes.
Out of the snooty, skinny bitches.
Yeah.
to dance with.
And I'm glad that we had the subtitles on, because the scene at the very end of the dance, and they do the dirty dancing thing when he walks across the dance floor and she runs up and he just lifts her up and holds her over her head. And when he sets her back down, he's like, thanks for jumping. She's
No
like,
problem.
No problem. But I do enjoy, because she was like, oh, you're so light on your feet. And he's like, yeah, I recently lost 150 pounds. And she's like,
so did I.
Like, oh, you realize you have so much more energy now, don't you?
But when when Max is talking to the chief, he states to him, he's like, but with your like analytical skills, he's like, nobody does it like you. He's like, even I. He's like, I would sit here for hours trying to decipher this kind of stuff. And it's like, they don't understand. It's really humans that are able to detect these.
The guys that have the hunches.
Yeah. And so he doesn't want to promote Max to field agent because...
And Max even says, he was like, so you're not promoting me because I'm too good at my job. Like, huh. Which in a way you could be like, that's an incredible compliment, but like...
It's a slap in the face at the same time. And it's somebody who's worked in a company for an extended period of time. They can probably relate to that. They get pigeonholed into doing something really well that they can't lose that person. Well, it's like, okay, well, you're not training other people to do the same thing then. That's on you, man.
Yeah.
You can't hold people back.
No. So, but then you find out Control gets broken into, then they have to go to their safe room or safe headquarters or whatever. So they're down there talking, and he says, he was like, no, we gotta, like, we're in kind of a predicament here because, a lot of our agents, they're dying all over the world because their identities have been compromised. So you see Anne Hathaway had been introduced into it already, where at first you really don't know who she is, but after the Control gets broken into and Max gets back and he walks in and everything's destroyed, she comes up behind him with a gun. She's like, freeze. And he's, freeze. She's like, no, I'm telling you to freeze. He's like, freeze times infinity.
But he had actually bumped into her on the street. She was just out for a jog.
It wasn't a bump. It was a tackle.
Yeah, well, it was an accident.
She was like, great, that was my last mile. I'm going to just say it was 4:50. And he was like, wow, well, that's pretty quick. I once ran a 5:16. She's like, oh, well, that's slower.
Not everything is a competition.
Yeah, well, if it was, I'd win.
I love that.
Are you flirting with me? No, not at all.
Are you?
Why? Are you flirting with me? So,
is it working?
Not at all.
Well, shit.
But she runs away. Now, the thing that didn't make any sense to me is this guy comes out and he was like, I admire your focus. But then this guy comes out with a dolly that has like...
some kind of vendor.
Yeah, but he has like 7 or 8 cases of Budweiser on it. And he runs over his foot and he was like, ugh! He's like, am I invisible? The guy's going the wrong way. Like, why is he bringing those out of this store?
Yeah.
You should be bringing them in.
Thieving scoundrel.
Filthy thieves.
Thieving stable boy. But yeah, he turns around and he sees who it is. It's like, oh. It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
And
she's like, are you Control? And he was like, yeah, I'm Maxwell Smart. I'm one of the analysts. And he's like, what about you? And she's like, oh, I'm Agent 99. He's like, oh, 99? He's like, oh my God. He's like, I'm such a huge fan. But she turns around really quick. She's like, oh, thank you.
But, he's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. The entire place is in disarray. And then they hear people coming. And so...
he gets like a steam pipe or something and just throws it down the hall.
It looks like a fire hose, but it's not connected to water. It's like steam coming out of it.
Yeah.
But he's doing these hand gestures like...
I'm right here. Just talk to me.
Tell me. He's like, I'm going to create a distraction.
You run for help.
But it's, the chief and
Yeah.
some of the other
it's like
the control.
Yeah, it's like a a sweeper team or something that's going to come through and make sure that there's no more bad guys there or whatever. But he turns on the hose and it's flying around, hitting people, knocking them through windows. But Max grabs the fire extinguisher and you just see someone running through and he just nails him in the head and he's like, oh. And then 23 turns the steam off. He's like, 23, you're just in time. I think I got one of them. And you hear Larrabee's like, is that the chief? It's like, yes, it is. And he's like, is that a dent in his head?
Yeah, 91.
And then, but when the next day, it was like when they're in the meeting in the other safe room, and he was like, excuse me if I'm a little groggy today. He's like, I took a pretty nasty bump to the head. And he's like, yeah, it was dark. And Max is like, yeah, it was dark in there. There's a lot of steam. I hurt my knee. Maybe you tripped.
One of the things that is established early on is that the office, like the control people and the agents, they don't like each other very much.
No.
And the agents are pretty much bullies. Although Larrabee and 91, they act like bullies. 91 is clearly an agent. I don't know why he's just hanging out in the office. You never see him in the field.
No, you don't. And then I think the only person that does have respect for all those people is Agent 23. Because, right when he shows up, it seems like he has a really, really good relationship with Max. So, when they're in our opening segment for this show, or for this episode, we did a scene from this part. But Larrabee's texting, and Max is talking about, if you remember on page 483 of my last report. And so you're just sitting there like, oh my goodness, this is how detailed his reports are. But Agent
Does anybody even read my report?
Well, Agent 23 looks and he was like, hey, what are you doing? You texting? He's like, yeah.
He grabs his phone from
he's
his...
like, I'm texting my fiance to let her know we're not going to get married in June because I'm still going to be in this meeting. And he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, here, can I see that real quick? And he's like, oh, yeah, that's nice. And then just breaks his phone in half. And he's like, oh, look at that. You lost signal. And then he's like, sorry about the interruption, Max.
Yeah, because that was actually 91's phone. He's like, man, next time use your own phone. Which begs the question, why was he using 91's phone?
Probably because of the fact that Larrabee just... I imagine that the reason he's so mean in the office is because his fiance was like, yeah, I don't think so. You're not going anywhere with your phone.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
So throughout the movie, you do see 23 just being very mindful of the other folks that work on the same team. He has that moment. He's when he comes back, when he's introduced for the first time, he has this little interaction with the girl at the front desk, Judy.
Yeah, where he does the finger gun to her.
Or a blow kiss or whatever. And she grabs it and it's like, but then he walks into a wall.
Oh, put it in between your boobies. Oh my God, you did.
But he's supposed to be the suave, handsome guy. And after this moment, he walks right into the wall. And he looks over at her to see if she noticed. And he just tries to play it off. You can't play that off.
Totally meant to do that.
Yep. This wall must be new.
It wasn't here last time I was here.
But when 23 walks through the door, Max asks him, he's like, so how'd the assassination go?
He's like, oh, under Article 12333, so we don't assassinate people.
And then they both start laughing.
But then Max is like, oh, you kill me. And then he was like, I could if I wanted to.
Oh my God, did you see that face he made?
No, I think the scene where you see the camaraderie between them is when they're in the little paintball. It would be
it's
a
field
training.
Simulator. Yeah, it's training, yeah.
And then that one guy gets hit in the shoulder. He's like, ha, you missed. And then Agent 23 looks around. He's like, boom, 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 boom. And the guy's finally, he's like, all right, I'm out. And he's like, you didn't miss, Max. He was lying. That was a damn good shot.
But I like when Larrabee gets hit in the nuts.
Yeah.
Just that one shot and that sound. Then he
I love what he says right before it because he's like, hey, he was like, you know what I'm going to do with you, Maxine? I'm going to put a little leash on you and play a little game called Let's Go to the Dog Show. He's like, I put a leash on you and make you my bitch. And that's when he gets shot in the nuts. And he's like, ah! It's like, I think I really got under his skin with that one.
Deserved it. But I think 91 calls him Maxi Pad, and he's like, oh, Maxi Pad. I've never heard that one before.
He's like, actually, I never have.
I've never heard that.
But you just see that camaraderie between, Agent 23 and Max. So you're just like, man, I bet they're like really good friends.
Right.
So it's so great, though. I mean, to see that. But since everybody's been compromised, there's only one thing that can be done. You find out that Agent 99 has just had major reconstructive surgery, so she looks nothing like how she used to.
And she used to look like her mother, apparently.
Yeah. And then Max, who's never been a field agent, he's always been in analytics. So you have to put them together. He shows her the picture. He's like, yeah, that's what I used to look like. And she's like, wow, congratulations. That's impressive. And then she pulls out a picture and she's like, this is what I used to look like. And he's like, wow, you were hideous. Which she wasn't.
She was not at all. She was very
beautiful,
very attractive. And I got to say, like, I've always, thought Anne Hathaway was attractive. But, like, in this movie, she's a knockout. She's a knockout. Like, oh, my God. Especially the scene where she's got to crawl under all those lasers.
Yeah.
It's like...
I do like Max, though, because she goes out first and she was like, okay, just watch me and do exactly as I do. But she turns around and looks at him and he's like, are you staring at my butt? And he's like, no, I'm a
professional. I'm not staring at you. I am now.
I was before, and now I am again, and now no. And then she's like, just pay attention to me and do exactly what I do. But she does all these moves.
These
and then,
really elaborate.
Yeah. And then as soon as she gets done, he's like, do I have to do it exactly like that?
She's like, hurry up. Just get out here. But it's funny because he pretty much mimics exactly as she does.
Yes.
Doing all these, just feats of acrobatics and, flexibility until a rat crawls up his back and it goes into his suit.
That's not cheese.
But it's funny because they were going through a storm drain before they crawled up, that's just a secret way to get into this mansion.
What's the other entrance, Chief? The kind where you're going to throw your shoes away after you're done.
So he's making all this comment about poop because he's acting like it's like sewage, like a sewer drain or whatever.
He's like, I never remember James Bond having to walk through poop. Have poop and rats. Oh, look, there's a rat riding a poop.
She's like, relax, it's just a storm drain.
It's so funny.
But yeah, there's that scene. I like the interactions between Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway, and I think this is the only movie that they've ever done together. But it was a great pairing.
Yeah,
like, they had great chemistry together. Initially it was she is just all about business,
right? And
she doesn't want to be partners with him at all because she just sees him as a pencil pusher. He's got no field experience.
Yeah, he has absolutely no field experience.
Totally unqualified.
So the very first thing that you're going to do is be like, oh, well, let's just pair us up together because that's, an ingenious move. And not only are you going to pair us up together, but, well, look at this. This guy has absolutely no idea what he's doing. And, look, this is actually a really big mission. So we can't. We can't be together. We have to be serious on this. But, I mean, Max does hold his own.
I do like when he finds out that he's going to be on this mission because this is, like our intro again.
Yes.
This was the scene where they do the cone of silence and everybody, well, I'm sorry. No, that was our original intro. We did not do that intro.
Yeah, we tried.
So they're sitting in this very secluded part of the base, I guess,
right,
for lack of a better term, and they have the cone of silence, and it's some digital thing where it puts like this cone around everybody, and so they can speak in secrecy, but nobody can hear each other.
Yeah, because I think originally what the cone was supposed to be was because it went over each individual.
instead
but
of
I think it
everyone
was
as a
supposed
whole.
to go over as a group.
That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I thought you said that it was working.
No, I said the cone of silence is almost ready.
He said I never. No, he said I never said it actually worked.
No, he said I never really used the word ready.
Yeah, that's it.
And he's like, "What are you talking about? The cone of silence is great. Oh,
the cone of silence is awesome."
Yeah, it's like the cone of silence is a shizzle.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually work. But Chief, he makes mention of, he's like, well, I'm going to put my two best agents on this, 99 and
Agent
86.
He's like, who's Agent 86? He's like, that's you, Max. He's like,
so he finally gets his opportunity.
Yeah, and he's like, Bruce, can I have the COS, please? And he goes over and hits the button, so you see it on him for a second, but he didn't hit it hard enough, so it didn't stay on him. He's like, oh my God, this is the best day of my life. Oh, I'm so happy.
Max, you didn't hit it hard enough.
Oh, really? So you just heard that entire thing?
Yes.
That is embarrassing.
Well, it's not like he said anything bad.
Yeah.
Who cares if he's excited about this?
But then Agent 99, she's like, Chief, can I kind of talk to you in private? He's like, please, Agent 99, if you and I are going to be partnered up on this, please, I want to hear your opinions and express yourself freely. She's like, I don't like Max and I don't trust him, and I think that this is a horrible idea to put him in the field.
Well, isn't that a punch to the gonads?
I do like when they are in the cone of silence at first, and that's when Max admits, he was like, Chief, I hit you in the head with a fire extinguisher, and then the Chief's like, no, we're not ready for that yet.
Because Max, I think he obviously feels guilty about it, but he's like, this is my way of getting this off of my chest.
Yes.
But without suffering any of the consequences.
And then later on in the movie, when they were like, oh, Max is a double agent and he's under arrest, he was like, the chief even says, he was like, well, you hit me in the head with the fire extinguisher. And he's like, and I apologize for that, but you didn't hear me because you were in a mini coma.
Well, sir. I like the airplane scene because, this was the moment where they were sharing the pictures and everything. Yeah. And he finds out a little bit about her, but she's still holding back.
Right.
She doesn't want to give too much of herself because she just feels like that's what put her in the, position where she had to have all this reconstructive surgery.
Right.
Because she was compromised and she didn't want to do that again.
Right.
She doesn't want to go through all of that. And she probably doesn't want to show any vulnerability, I guess, because if she may perceive that as weakness.
Yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of any type of spies or agents like that. I mean, in any movie about this kind of stuff, I mean, they're exactly the same way. They don't want to put themselves out there. They don't want to, just seem vulnerable. I mean, but then you also can look at it and be like, well, you may be a hardened agent, but you're still a human.
But the funny scene happens when Max looks down and he sees that he has gum on the bottom of his shoe.
Oh, I stepped in gum in my new shoes.
And what does he use to get the gum off of his shoe?
There's no other logical explanation. So could have got a napkin and used that. He could have torn a page out of a magazine and used that.
He could have gone to the bathroom and used toilet paper.
Yeah. I mean, hell, he was even saying we're getting close to the drop zone anyway. So, yeah, you have to go to the bathroom so you can get to the drop zone. Use toilet paper from there. But no. His only logical conclusion is, what? I have this box of matches.
Yes.
I'm going to use a match. Oh, my God, he's trying to light his shoe. He's got a shoe bomb. It's like, no, it's gum. It's like,
he's got a gun?
It's like, no, gum.
Dude, it escalates quickly. And then some air marshal just
appears out of nowhere.
And then,
sir, I believe you shattered my coccyx.
So they move him into another chair, and they got his hands zip tied together.
Yeah.
But he's like,
excuse me, violent air marshal.
Violent air marshal, I need to squeeze the lemon.
Then the old people are like, he's like,
yes, you heard me. Squeeze the lemon. But what's so weird is the air marshal is talking to one of the flight attendants, and he's like, do you work out?
And she was like, yeah, sometimes. And he was like, yeah, I love protein.
I love protein.
I love protein.
Protein's the best. It's like, it's fucking awkward, man.
I know. So, and then you and I have talked about it. He gets that Swiss Army knife out of his shoe, and he could have just popped open the blade and cut the zip tie. But no, he's like, well, let me use this miniature crossbow that's on it to shoot the zip tie.
Yeah, because Lloyd and Bruce?
Yeah, they got him that.
They gave him this knife, and he doesn't realize how much this thing actually does.
Right.
He's like, we got you this knife. He's like, oh, a
Yeah,
pocket
he's like,
knife? He's
yeah.
like, no, it's not just a pocket knife.
He's like, it's a
It's
Swiss
a Swiss
Army
Army knife.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's got the normal things on it. He's like, it's got the knife, it's got the saw, it's got a flamethrower or a chisel. And he's like, wait, what was that two-back? It's like,
freak?
What, a chisel? And he was
Sasquatch?
like, no. He's like, did you say it had a flamethrower? He's like, oh, yeah, it's the best. Look at this.
Yeah, but it's like these little mini, what the hell were they?
Arrows, like just arrows for a crossbow, because it has a crossbow on it as well.
But where they're explaining this piece of it, he's like, because they're tied to like webbing, but it's made by like nano spiders or whatever.
Yeah, and he's like, and we have to milk the webbing out of them. And then Bruce is just like, yeah, they don't like it that much.
We don't like to do it. But of all of the tools that he has available in this Swiss Army knife,
I would have used the chisel before I used the crossbow.
any kind of dough. He tries to shoot these little mini harpoons,
Yes.
for lack of a better term, right at the zip tie on his wrists.
Right.
And they ricochet off of every aspect of this little bathroom.
Now, the first shot that he had, he's just pointing it straight down and misses his hands entirely, shoots it into his foot. I think that is so funny because it sounds so genuine because he gets his foot up on the counter. And, I mean, I've been hit on I've dropped tools and stuff on my foot. And, it's painful. So I can't imagine, like, shooting a mini harpoon through my foot. So his pain actually sounds genuine when he has his foot up on the counter and he's like, I gotta get that out.
And it keeps cutting into the cabin of the plane, and you hear everything that he's saying.
Yeah.
Like, there's no discretion whatsoever.
Ball sack.
Ball sack. Flask.
It's like, are you all right in there? I'm fine.
But he keeps shooting more and more. Like, how many are in there? Like, good God, man.
Yeah, I think it was 7 total I counted.
He shoots one into his cheek. Another one goes through the cartilage in his ear.
One ends up in the back of his neck. One goes through his nose and out the door, like through the door. And then the one in the foot. Yeah, it's like 7 arrows. And then the last one, he's like, last one, gotta make it count. So he shoots, and that's when he finally gets it. But
he shoots one, and then it hits the eject button.
Well, yeah, because when he shoots it, it goes through the sink, hits the helmet, and then hits the eject button. So he just looks up, and the floor opens, and he's gone. And then the pilot's like, all right, first package away.
Because they know that there are agents on board that are going to be departing during or while they're flying
flight.
over the drop zone. And then...
So Anne Hathaway goes in because it says, like lavatory unoccupied. So she goes in, does everything. But when it opens up, there's still 2 parachutes.
She sees 2 parachutes,
She's
yeah.
Like, what an idiot. So she has to go and save him. But when you hear him yelling, I just love that scene when she goes up and grabs him. And he's like, oh, good.
You heard me. While they're still on the plane, though, she makes notice of a very suspicious character who was mentioned in our intro.
Yes.
Daleep. And
she's like, oh my God, that guy is, she's like, that's a bad guy. That is a very, very bad guy. And
she's like, no, you're profiling.
Yeah, she was like, at your 6 o'clock. So he goes to turn around and she's like, no, use your peripherals. And
no,
like,
I don't. Does she say use your peripherals?
Yeah, she was like, use your peripherals. Well, and then he's
opens, like, I just opened my eyes wider.
Yeah, and he's like, just staring straight ahead.
Forward.
And he's like, I'm just opening my eyes wider.
I don't see anything.
Yeah. And then so he just finally turns and he's like, no, you're profiling 99 and that's wrong. He's like, no, we're not going to do that. And then he turns around.
Oh my God.
Sees him, he's like,
that is a very bad guy.
That is a very, very bad guy. He's like, jeez, do you see the size of his head?
It's like an Easter Island statue. But after she ejects from the plane, he gets up.
Second package away.
Yeah, and then he grabs the second parachute and he
And then
ejects.
you hear the ding, and then it's like third package away. And then
Third package.
Third package. What?
Come again?
99, Easter Island.
9 times.
But they've already popped their parachute. He comes with a knife, slices through their parachute, and then goes down, and she gets rid of the parachute, and she's like, I'll be right back. And he's like, where could you possibly be going?
But I like, before he slices their chute, Max notices him, skydiving towards him.
Yeah.
Like free falling towards him. And he's like, oh my God, look behind you. Easter Island. Yeah. He doesn't know who this guy is at this point.
So then she leaves Max to fall still. She goes and then cuts Easter Island's chute and then goes back to Max. Well, he realizes, oh, great, my parachute is done for. So he goes back to them and just bear hugs both of them. And he's just holding on. And she was like, if I can't reach my chute, you're going to die too. And she's like, Max, do something.
He kicks him in the balls.
Yeah, and he was like, that definitely would have worked on me.
But it's like they made a sound effect like he was hitting steel. Yeah.
So she tries it too, and he just smiles. So the only thing that she can think of is, well, I'm going to kiss him. So she kisses him, and then that's when he lets go. They pop their chute. And he's able to kind of pop a chute before he actually crashes through a barn.
Onto a pig.
Through a pig and through a floor.
But then you see that guy that works on the farm, but he's got like an AK or something.
Yeah. So he just comes running up, and, the pig comes flying out. He comes out. But I like hearing Max as they're going down. He's like, aim for the haystack. Aim for the haystack. And she's like, shut up. And he's like, it'll be softer.
But she still lands softly.
Yeah. They land, and he was like, and you missed it.
But I like how you find out who the big guy is later on.
Yes.
He is Dalip. And Dalip is on fire. Yeah.
I mean, with this movie, we could talk about this movie for hours and hours and hours and probably not even cover all the funny stuff that's in it.
We don't have that kind of time.
No, we don't.
No, because we're getting close to our usual mark. But, without going over an hour, which we definitely do not want to do, what's one of your most memorable scenes from this movie?
One of my most memorable scenes, there are a few that kind of stand out. We talked about it right before we started recording, is just the part where Dalip is on the boat, and you have the main bad guy. I can't remember what his name was.
Chris
No, not him. Terrence Stamps. Siegfried. You see, and he comes
Who
around.
Who was an asshole in this whole movie.
But, Dalip is eating an apple, and he's like, my God, did you eat the entire crew? It's like, I'm not paying you to stand around. Get back to work. And then that, and then the little Starker, the little fat guy that's always with Siegfried.
Yeah.
Anytime he's in a scene, it's hysterical. Because at the very end, their whole plot is we're going to blow up this big symphony where the president is. We have a nuclear bomb in here. It's going to kill...
Nuclear!
Correct. But they do...
Ode to Joy.
Yeah. And, Max is able to deter the bomb from going off because it's at the last, note for the song Ode to Joy. But they're able to interrupt it and everything, and they break it up. And
he tackles the conductor, who's like 90.
Yeah, but I like Dalip because Dalip's driving the car, and he's like, bomb no go off. And he was like, oh, really? He was like, huh, was it the lack of a boom boom or the mushroom cloud? But Starker in the back just leans up, and he was like, it was the mushroom cloud for me.
Totally underrated.
Yes,
totally.
It was a very underrated line. And I love that line.
And he had very few lines in the movie, but the couple that he did, it was very memorable. Yes. Because there's this scene where Siegfried, he gets the call from the unknown agent or whatever he's taking orders from.
Yes.
And what's his face? He speaks up in the background. He's like, "Oh, who's that? Oh, he's nobody." But then after he hangs up, Siegfried is like, "Why does he always do that?"
And he's like,
and
"How
then,
should I know?
I'm nobody." He's all butthurt about
I do
this
like
whole
it
thing.
when he's calling Homeland Security and that big meeting's happening. And in that meeting, I was telling you when that part came up, I love how childish everybody in the room is being.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, they're all grown men. They're all like...
They're all world leaders.
Yeah,
you know?
you got like, the Department of Homeland Security. You have, the Director of Control, FBI, CIA.
Vice President
Yeah,
is
the
there.
Vice President is in there. But there's that one guy that sits there and he was like, oh, yeah, let's see. He's like, Kim Jong-il said yesterday that he was going to crunch up the bones of Americans and turn it into pudding. But then you have the army guy who's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies just sit up and he was like, that's ridiculous. Doesn't he know bones are crunchy? Who wants to eat a crunchy pudding?
That's besides the point.
I know, it's so dumb. But then when Siegfried is calling the control room, and it's like, oh, well, if you're making a threat against America, press 1. If you're making a threat against Hawaii, press 2. But Starker's in the back just like... And then Siegfried's like, you're the only person who snores while they're awake.
It's like, why does he stick around?
I know.
It's to work for this asshole. Okay, so for me, one of my favorite scenes is when the bombs are going off, the building's kind of on fire. They're having to escape, Max and 99, they're having to escape. But then Dilip shows up out of nowhere. They don't even know that he's alive because this is the first time that they've seen him since they were skydiving.
Right.
They think that he fell to his death.
Correct.
And so he comes out. He breaks through this door like it's nothing, and he takes it and he throws it at both of them. Knocks them both to the ground.
99, maybe you should kiss him again.
But Max has this plan because he hears his voice for the first time. And he's like, I know that voice. Wait a second. I know you.
Yeah.
You may not realize this, but I know who you are. And he's ignoring it.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't acknowledge that Max is saying any of this. He just continues to fight them. He's like, these are my enemies, whatever. And then Dilip picks up, what's it, like an air conditioning unit or something?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Over his head. And this thing looks heavy as hell. And
dude, see,
he's just holding it.
I work in that field. Mm-hmm. Like, I work with air conditioners. They are heavy.
Oh, so you know Dilip.
Yeah.
So he's holding this over his head for an ungodly amount of time.
Yeah.
And Max is, I'm going to convince him, we do not have to resolve everything with violence. He's like, I understand that you love your wife and she wants to be with you. Even if she comes out to the fields when you're going out killing people, she just wants to be by your side. So don't worry about what her sister is doing or whatever.
I do like how he puts it, because he says he was like, because you and I both know that she's ruining your marriage. Mm-hmm. Like him and Max know. Like, he doesn't know Dilip.
Yeah.
He doesn't know his wife. Doesn't know the sister-in-law. But yes, I know the scene that you're talking about.
But so he throws this big thing down off to the side of the building, which ends up landing on Starker's car. Yeah. Holy shit! A Ferrari! That was a different scene, though. But the fact that Dilip breaks down, he's like, yes, see? Big people can hurt, too.
Yeah.
And he goes and gives Max a hug, and it just says, her sister is such a bitch. That's one of my favorite scenes.
It is a great scene. There are so many things that stand out. When Siegfried captures Max and he was like, I'm going to kill you and then I'm going to go kill your partner. And he was like, what partner? And then he brings up the thing and he was like, well, I will have you know that there are 130 highly trained Navy SEALs outside. And he's like, I don't believe you. And he's like, would you believe 20 Black Op Delta Force agents? He's like, no. How about Chuck Norris with a BB gun?
Okay.
That's actually a nod to the original show.
Really?
Max Smart would say things like that. I mean, not because Navy SEALs weren't a thing yet. Black Ops definitely wasn't a thing. Chuck Norris may have been in about 100 movies at that point, so people may have known him.
All right. I have an idea for a poll question.
Okay.
And I'm doing it at the end, so actually remember it. Because this has been one of our downfalls.
Yep.
And this is a question that I asked you when we were watching the movie. I even paused it, and I asked you, what's wrong with this scene here?
Aha.
So Max is down in
They're at the bakery.
They're at the bakery where they have yellow cake plutonium.
Uranium.
That.
And that too.
That they were putting into a DeLorean.
Is both.
Yes. Yes.
Both.
Uranium. Excuse me. I stand corrected.
It's like, Agent 99. He's like, 99. I found yellow cake. It's like, yes, well, it is a bakery. He's like, no, not yellow cake. Yellow cake uranium. And he's like, and oddly enough, there's yellow cake here too. And
so
that's cake,
you see,
cake.
Yeah. So you see people in the hazmat suits, and they're enjoying a birthday cake, which also happens to be yellow. So there is something amiss with this scene, and
Correct.
This is going to be our poll question. Watch the movie, watch for this scene, and tell me what's wrong with this picture. I'm not going to give you any hints.
Get it right, and then you'll get a shout out from us.
Or you might get a free bracelet.
It's both. They'll get both.
Nobody has answered any of our poll questions, so
Yeah,
So you
Just
might be the
shows that
lucky
no
one.
one's listening.
Yes. Well, this will be episode 60?
I don't know.
I think
Somewhere in there.
60.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right. It sounds good. It feels good.
No.
So, yeah, that'll be our poll question. But that is Get Smart. And like he said, there's a lot of great scenes. We can't possibly capture all of them
Yeah,
in
we
this
would
one
be here
episode.
for the rest of the day.
And this is not a 3-hour movie,
Nope.
so it's not going to be a 3-hour podcast. We learned our lesson with Office Space. Although it took 45 more episodes before we really hit our stride.
Yep.
But yeah, that's it.
All right, get
guess-
smart, everyone.
Without further ado,
Quotable podcast. Out. Missed it by that much.
nice.